Hi everyone, it's Marissa. I am the founder of LupusChick.com. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So I want to touch on a subject that I hear a lot about online in our social media channels, and it is about the shame or embarrassment that some people feel after they are diagnosed with a chronic illness such as lupus. So sorry, I have my space heater on and it's kind of burning my leg. So this is not the easiest subject to talk about, but it's really important, and it's something that I definitely dealt with. So I'm going to share just a little bit about my own personal experience and some things that happen, when you're diagnosed. So, I'm 41 now. I was diagnosed with lupus over 17 years ago. I was 23, and I remember when I was first diagnosed. Now we're going back a while, so really no one talked about lupus at that point, and it wasn't online. You didn't have social media. You couldn't pop online. You couldn't really read articles about it, and I just felt so isolated and alone. I had a half an hour appointment with my doctor who gave me as much information as he could. I went to the library. There was only one book on lupus at the time. My family and I had no idea what it was, and just feel really isolated. So even in today's world where we do have all of this information, it can still feel really isolating because even though you may have your friends and your family around you and you have that support, you are the one that's actually going through it. And in the beginning I was so sick, and you're sort of like, you're dealing with your body. It just feels like it's breaking down, feels like it's betraying you. And now you have this new diagnosis, and maybe you're not familiar with it, and the people around you are not familiar with it. And you're kind of thinking, well, how am I going to do this now? What's my treatment going to be like? And how is it going to affect my job or my college experience or my relationships, my marriage? So lupus, the thing about having really any chronic illness is that it can just seep into every area of your life. Now, all of that can sound like super depressing, and I don't want these videos to be depressing. That's not my point of making them. But the reality is lupus or any chronic illness will sort of affect every area of your life. But I do promise you this, and I know that it might be really hard to hear this, especially if you're newly diagnosed, but you will eventually learn how to sort of live this new normal, which is your life now with an illness, and you'll sort of tweak different areas of your life so that you can still thrive in them despite the fact that you're sick, or maybe you are getting treatment and things like that. So I think when you're diagnosed with something, whether you're 18 years old or you're 35, but sometimes we sort of feel like this embarrassment or shame, and this doesn't happen for everybody, but it certainly happened for me. And I was in college. I was around a bunch of people that were really healthy. I was in school to be a nurse. I was so excited, and boom, all of a sudden I have this illness, and I'm in the hospital. I'm getting treatment. I can't go back to school. I'm so sick. My mom and my grandmother at the time had to sort of step in and help take care of me, where you're in your early 20s, or at least I was, and I'm very independent type A person, so to sort of have take that step back and have people have to help me with everything, it was really difficult for me. The other thing for me was I didn't want to seem different, right? So if you notice, in our society, everyone sort of tries to blend in. Not everybody, but we look at other people, and we admire things about them, and so maybe we do things so that we're more like them, or but it's, to stand out is one thing. We all have our gifts, and I think that we are all very unique. But to stand out because you have an illness, that was not something that I wanted to do, especially when I was 23, 24 years old. I never told my friends. In the beginning, I sort of kept my circle really small about who knew, and I decided to just go on with life as usual. I refused medical treatment at first, which I will say is the worst thing I could have done, so I would never suggest that anyone do that. But I thought for sure, I'm going to be able to handle this. I don't need the medicine right now. Everything's going to keep going. I'm almost done with nursing school. I'm just going to go, go, go. Well, when I did that, I pretty much almost killed myself because the lupus sort of just went crazy in my body, and there was nothing that was keeping my immune system down. So definitely would not suggest that. But here I am, college student, hanging out with my friends. I want to be able to go to school, and I want to be able to go out at night. I want to be able to work, and I want to be able to date, and I don't want to have to tell everybody that I have lupus. So as time goes on, I start missing big chunks of life. Either I'm in the hospital or I'm recovering at home, and there are these weeks and these gaps of time where no one hears from me. I don't reach out to anybody, and when people don't know why, they start, their mind starts turning. They're thinking, is she mad at me? She's just being rude. She's being aloof. She's not returning calls. Anyway, so it gave people really bad impression in some areas. And it wasn't my intent. I was just, for some reason, just horribly embarrassed, and I didn't want to tell them what was going on. You're young, you're dating someone, like, I didn't want to have to tell them, like, oh, I have this rash all over me right now, or my mouth is filled with, mouth sores, and my nose is filled with nose sores, and that to me was, like, really embarrassing. So it was little things like that, but it got me to the point where I just didn't tell anyone. My life today, obviously, is completely different. I started Lupus Chick, now, about 11 years ago, and the whole thing behind Lupus Chick was to get your story out there and to meet other people who are actually going through the same exact thing, and also educate people. As I did start to share my story, I realized a lot of people, especially at that time, had no idea what lupus was. So because they were part of my life, I felt like it was sort of my job to educate them. So that's sort of how Lupus Chick was birthed. Also, I wanted a way that I could speak to other people and sort of have this relationship back and forth. And even though we weren't maybe in the same area geographically, we were able to keep in each other's lives, through online, being on the internet. So today I'm very open with my story, and I encourage others who are ready to share their stories. It's amazing. Once I did start sharing my story and being open and honest with people around me of what was going on, a lot of people, I will say not all, but a lot of people were very thankful. They were very compassionate. They wanted to help. They wanted to learn more about the disease. They wanted to understand what I was going through every day. And to me, that was wonderful. These are the people that eventually became my closest circle of support, who are still in my life today, who I still reach out to all the time. Of course, there are the few that didn't get it. They didn't understand why you couldn't just take a pill and everything would be better and you would just go back to your normal self. Lupus doesn't really work like that. They didn't understand really the meaning of chronic, that this is here to stay right now until there is a cure, which I'm praying that happens, in our lifetime. So I would encourage you, keeping things in is not only a bad idea for your own health. For me, trying to shove everything down actually brought about so much more stress and anxiety, and really messed with my mental state, because it was almost like I was living two lives at the moment. But being able to just be open and honest and realize if people want to be part of my life and they want to understand what this is, they will stick around and they will be there for me. And the people that don't, that's okay. I would never wish on them that they ever experience anything like this. But the reality is most of us will come into contact with someone that we love that has an illness and has a chronic disease, or has an incurable disease that is, is just not going to get better. And that can teach us a lot about ourselves and about life. So maybe those people weren't ready to hear it from me, but now that 17 years has gone by, I'm sure that they've met other people, and hopefully it just kind of sinks in at some point, like, okay, she wasn't faking it, like she really is sick, or he is really sick, and hopefully, I just hope that those people will be more supportive at some point. So anyway, that's sort of off the cuff. Wasn't planning on talking about this subject today, but I just felt it was on my heart, and I just wanted to share a little bit. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. You can also check out our website if you've never been to it. It's lupuschick.com. You can email me directly through the contact page. Also, if you are on Instagram, come check us out at Lupus Chick Official. Also, we're really big on Facebook under Lupus Chick. It's definitely one of my favorite platforms just because we have so many people, men and women, who are so engaged on that platform and love to talk to each other, and have a lot of times they become friends sort of off of our page. And that's exactly why I started Lupus Chick, is so that people have like that, almost that old school like pen pal relationship. It's a little bit different in today's world, but our page has certainly done that for a lot of people. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see new videos that I'm going to be posting every now and then. And also check out our website where we have like a video library and some other resources, and some free resources and things like that. So it was nice chatting with you all, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.